Hello everybody and welcome to the Challenger 2 Street Fighter 2 review. This is the latest Tier 10 in Armored Warfare's lineup of increasingly disturbingly large numbers of Tier 10s. For all intents and purposes, we can say that this is basically the Challenger 2 put up a tier, same gun, same armor as stock, with a brimstone launcher, 360 degree smoke grenades, and a big fuck off ramming plow. In a nutshell, of course, stock, the vehicle comes with 600 damage, 750 pen, and a 7.46 reload time. Its defense, 4,500 hit points, which I believe is more than the Challenger 2. Let me just edit all of these little things out. Actually, it might be a good idea to compare this to the Challenger 2 actually. So compared to a fully upgraded Challenger 2, the fully upgraded Challenger 2 has a reload time of 5.6, a little bit more hit points, etc, etc, etc. But the Challenger 2 Street Fighter, what it does have is that it's actually quite slow, only 60 kilometers an hour, 75 tons, it's a really heavy bird. And it comes with 319 meters of view range while moving. This is one of the higher ones of the vehicle, of the MBT classes, and is actually quite a lot. So there are a bunch of different playstyles you can use for this thing. Like I said, it has a ramming plow, however it only has 20 brimstone missiles, so one of the commanders you can take, of course, is going to be Alicia, who will pop up the brimstone missiles to about 31 missiles in game. It's pretty much going to last you the entire match, and of course she'll also give you 5,000 hit points as well. Another commander to use, of course, is going to be Cortez to maximize damage, but I wouldn't really recommend him simply because he doesn't really upgrade any of the vehicle's other statistics. A commander who does upgrade all of the vehicle statistics is Douglas, who, as you can see here, as soon as I actually change Douglas around, that is, pretty much moves the sustained damage down to 6.8 with when combined with a gun breach goes down to 6.16. Also a defense of almost 5,000 and a vision range while moving of 455. Now, of course, if you wanted to go with this build, I would recommend taking augmented optics and telescopic lenses to be able to get an absolutely massive view range. Now, while this may not help spot scouts, this will definitely help when spotting MBTs and can be used as sort of a support role for other vehicles of the same class as well. However, he doesn't fundamentally change the fact that the tank is going to be even slower now. In fact, it's never going to reach 60 kilometers an hour at all, and he doesn't help with the ammo problems either. So, in reality, I would still take Alicia over him. Of course, the vehicle is also quite big, and people will shoot at it as well. In fact, the brimstone box counts as a weapon hitbox for the vehicle, so that means that if you shoot that, the gun gets taken out. So, of course, Douglas doesn't really help with that, neither does Alicia, and people will fire HE rounds at you. I'll show you a very quick clip of that in a sec to show you how disturbing it can be, but basically speaking, if you're in PvP or GLOPS, people can just shoot the brimstone launcher. They'll do even module damage with a 50 caliber, and your gun's going to get taken out all the time. So, of course, any commander in the game that helps with that issue could help you out, but overall, the two best commanders I would rate for this is going to be Alicia or Douglas. Now, the final retrofit slot, to be honest, I would go with improved repair speeds, simply because this thing gets shot all the time, and eventually speaking, even if you go for better module damage or ammo rack, eventually you're going to be ammo racked. Now, this is a problem that is going to be addressed. Give me a second. The next thing to look at, of course, is going to be this vehicle's armor. Now, against itself with a brimstone launcher, you think, wow, this is actually pretty good. However, when fighting against itself, and keep in mind this is a tier 9 gun, this is when we start to realise that the vehicle has a whole host of problems. This is versus 750 pen. That is the smallest lower plate in the game. The armor itself goes up anywhere from about 480, 430 all the way to 235. Same for the turret as well, bit of a buff. This is still better than most MBTs without ERA, but it's still fundamentally worse than the Challenger 2 AT2. However, if it now fights up against the standard penetration gun of an MBT lineup, gets a bit bigger, etc, etc. But if this vehicle then starts to face tier 8s and tier 9s, let's say the BM outplot, you can see where we start to run into issues. They can't penetrate this thing at all. And I'm not very happy with this, because, well, we'll get into that when we come to the end part of the review, but basically speaking, this is not a good vehicle versus tier 10s, however it is completely broken versus tier 9s and tier 8s. I mean, seriously. And if you get closer to this thing, well, you're not going to be able to pen it at all. But at the same time, versus vehicles with high penetration guns, such as the Leopard 2AX, you see where this is going. This is a vehicle that is quite contradictory in how it wants to be played. So, let's compare its statistics to, let's say, the vehicles people normally take. Where's my XM1A3? I think the game may have gotten rid of my XM1A3. The XM1A3 has disappeared. Okay. There we are. So the Type 10 XM1A3 take you off a Martyr. Actually, no. Let's compare it to vehicles with high hit points. And of course, the gun itself. Does my XM1A3 only have heat? Yeah, that's... Let's quickly change that. So XM1A3. Of course, the Object 640, Merkava 4M, T4 itself, the AT2, and of course the Challenger 2. So as you can see here, Challenger 2 Streetfighter, pretty much the same gun as the Challenger 2, except it has woefully worse DPM. Even with Douglas, who was the commander you go to for a faster firing gun, it's still going to be excessively long. So, and of course, even despite having a 120mm gun, it is still beaten out by vehicles with bigger guns, such as the T4, the Merkava 4M, the 640 reloads slightly less but has a much bigger punch, same for the XM1A3. However, it does have an incredible amount of hit points, basically the same as the T4, a little bit more than the 4M as well. But when we go to the camo and view range part of the vehicle, this is when it starts to go up. 425 and 490 is absolutely massive. However, the vehicle's gun depression is still pretty shit, to be honest, -8. Compared to the -10 of the Challenger 2. This is a difference between having to go over a ridge and having to actually physically expose yourself to shoot someone in lower plate, while the Challenger 2, as it is tier 9, can simply just aim its gun down a little bit more. And the accuracy is okay. I'll say it's about average, really. And then lastly, we come to the top speed of the thing, which, like with the Challenger 2 and the AT2, is very slow, while pretty much all the others are significantly faster. In fact, even the Merkava 4M is, to be honest, a significantly more agile vehicle, and that turn-in time that's pretty shit as well. So I'd like to run by some screenshots to show you the reason why I think that the vehicle isn't a good fit for tier 9. It's going to be 2 vehicles from each tier, and then with a pair of tier 7s at the end. And it's because the brimstone launchers are so ridiculously powerful when they hit. This is a when, and this is an if. Well, more of an if than a when. That it pretty much just butchers tier 9s, tier 8s, and if it goes up against tier 7s, it's basically steel clubbing. So let's have a look at those images, just to give you some context, and then we'll move on with the rest of the review. So, another part of the vehicle I want to address is the brimstone launcher box. Now, there was a thing a while back in which the splash penetration of a large caliber high explosive guns, such as the 140mm on the Leclerc and the 152s that the Russians love very much, had enough splash penetration and splash radius that when they hit modules of the vehicle, they would hit more lightly armored areas, so it would explode basically in a 360-degree radius, and it would hit those internal modules and it would ammo rack people. Ammo racking the base Challenger itself isn't much of a problem, because of course the ammo rack is all the way at the back. It's 100mm, well, it's 100mm over that. So even if you hit all of these and the trophy, the splash penetration isn't going to be able to go through. But what is on the back of the vehicle that counts as a module can be penetrated for a third damage because it's next to the tank as well, and the HE shells have enough penetration to go through, and because they have a splash radius of 1.5 meters and a splash penetration of 150, what exactly would they do to that vehicle? So keep in mind, splash penetration of 115mm, as said. The ammo rack is 100mm. It's and we go to the biggest flaw of the vehicle in that, effectively speaking, if you have high explosive and you have just enough of a radius, you can shoot that brimstone box at the center and it will go straight into the ammo rack and detonate the vehicle. I have had this happen multiple times playing this vehicle. I go up against a Armada 152, a Leclerc T4, an Object 195, a 640 could do it maybe even the Leopard 130. And simply put, once they figure out that you can just simply shoot the brimstone box and hit the ammo rack, you are fundamentally useless against them, because every 2 to 3 hits is an ammo rack, and you can't pop your repair kit that much to deal with them. While the vehicle itself, the brimstone missiles, they have a reload time of 30 seconds. Okay? The average reload time of an APS is 30 seconds. And while you might be able to get that reload time down to maybe 24 seconds, at the same time it's a 3-second cycle time, and you can only control 1 missile as well. So you can only control 1 missile, that hits, 3-second cycle time, then you fire the other missile. Remember, the first missile gets shot down by hard kill APS. They know they're being shot at, so they either smoke up, and they have soft kill APS, and they have that composite armor as well, which as you saw in the screenshots. Versus other tier 10s, the brimstone missile is very difficult to use, and of course by the time you've reloaded, the APS is up again, and you go through the same rigmarole. So, I'm going to show you a very short video of myself and Tank Sniper testing out the ammo rack, and it would be funny if it wasn't so sad. Shoot the yellow box.
I know. Yeah, gun, APS, and ammo rack.
Doesn't say anything about the ammo rack here.
No, it just shows ammo rack. It's doing some damage, but not like significant.
You're doing 450.
Okay.
Aim from there.
Well, yeah, I'm chipping you away, but I think I have to hit. Yeah, I have to hit lower on the box to hit your ammo.
Okay.
So turn your turret back toward me. Get the MG in the way. Okay, so if I aim like right below the ammo box, it's like a yellow, it's like a white dead space there, so I can't hit. I'll aim a little to the right. Okay, I think I hit the MG on that one.
Yeah.
So frontally, I can't really hurt your rack, but if I get a little bit extra like this, you have to hit the base.
Oh my god, that's so dumb.
You have to hit the base of it to actually damage the ammo rack.
That's so fucking dumb. You can basically just...
You can super chip it with HE.
Yeah, you can just completely neuter this thing from the front. And just ammo rack it. Yeah, no, but the thing is, Flavio, 400 isn't bad, like, for just HE chip damage.
And you also have to take into consideration that I'm not using someone like Sabrina or something.
Fuck you. I want a pen. Yay!
Wow, that's actually pretty good for being within 50 meters. I'm gonna try something.
The missile does not work as intended.
Okay.
Yeah, you can... Honestly, I think even a 50 cal can get it. Just shoot the box over and over again. So, lastly, I'm going to go through some games with this, and you're going to have a look at how honestly painful the Streetfighter can be to play. So, let's jump into those. Like, the ability for some vehicles to fire 6 shots or 4 shots in 12 seconds or less, and then reload them again in 12 seconds. Like, that is not that is not a good idea. At all.
Only light vehicles should have that ability.
Wait, but even then, they should have some kind of payoff, to the point of which we make auto-loaders so much better than vehicles with ready racks. But instead of getting tweaks that the community asked for, that the super testers wanted, that people wanted, we got this gimped fucking game where MBTs are running around with 800mm of side armor because that's funny. T4 over there. Need to go help these guys out. Because the Atdu is going to push him. Unsure if I can actually do anything though, but we can try. Yeah, 98 damage, eat it. Fucking brimstone missile, top of the line tech. Yeah, 98 damage, eat it. Poor fucking guy pushing him. We need to push these guys, but I'm gonna get peshed. Right in the fucking side. Also the what the fuck? How did that pan? Okay. You also got hit by Alicia as well. I don't mind pushing this Adu if that means they can kill the Leclerc. Got 3 fucking vehicles backed up here and the Cabby coming from behind. fucking no. Just ignore the outdo. Hey Panzer, thanks for the raid. Unfortunately, this is just me bitching a whole lot about this vehicle.
Isn't it just normal?
To some amusing extent, I suppose. Can you pump? I can't. Come on. Come on, come on, come on! There we go. Whew. Right, there's one down. No, don't do it, you fucking cretin! My god, he's dumber than I thought. Hold on. He's gonna push me. Fucking Christ almighty. Right, I know I can hit the Panzer A17. Like, definitely speaking, I can go with him because he doesn't have APS. That fucking object is suiciding like that. I just, no. The thing is, I want my missiles to be useful right now. I want them to be... There's one. The same thing will happen to tier 8s and 9s as well. To tier 8s this will go up against. I still can't believe I managed to dunk so hard on the clerk like that. Don't even know how it panned. Oh shit. Can't be. Can we? Hold on. Let's see if I can get behind him. I'm very much worried about the where's the Cat B? There he is. Bonk. Let's pop his ass. Gal's gonna kill the pong ball. Let's fucking go. Oh. Come on, come on, come on. Pressure. Hello. See ya. Do you think the pollen ball's still down there? He is. Oh yeah, I forgot. That is the first good game I've had in this, and that was incredibly stressful. I think they could buff it by making the brimstones direct fire. Buff the pen to 1400 like the AFT10. Leave it like that. Because fucking Christ, that was one difficult game. The Outdo should have had me, but he fucked up. The Leclerc should have been firing HE this entire time because you can pen the brimstone carrier with HE. But they didn't, so I won. Also, that Cat B really screwed up.
Because you'll be down, you'll be pointed down further, which gives them less distance they need to travel.
Yeah.
I have played the AGDS way too much to know about all those little angle points.
I should play my AGGS more. It's so sad that they...
There's only 2 commanders that make it viable. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
And both of them
It's
are...
either okay, never mind, a lot of people
Is this
go in that
Connor
way, so I
gonna
guess we're
fucking
going
move or
north.
not? It's just...
I wanted to go to the airfield, but too many people are going to the airfield, so let's...
These coordinates are really getting in my fucking way today, like, can you not?
Can you not, sir?
Yeah, he's
Sir, please.
going places. We're using the diesel engine, right?
Yes, I always use diesel engine.
Yeah. Well, see, this thing would have so much more success with its missiles if they were just direct fire. I don't understand why they have to be arcing missiles.
Well, because swing fire attached to the top of the tank is good gameplay, though.
Nah.
Oh, hi, Cornet.
Is he AFK?
Yes, he is, and I want to eliminate that. Oh, there's another
90
one
mass.
now. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about this other Cornet.
The fuck do you mean I did? Yeah, the 90 ms right now, I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows. Yeah, hey, dude.
Okay. I got rid of that guy. Good, 2 Cornets are down.
Oh, found a green place. It's right in the driver's port. Bonk.
Hang on, I'll be there with you in a second.
Sent, why are you going to close combat with a the TD drivers!
Ballsy.
The TD drivers today! I think they might be on drugs. They're fucking nuts!
I'd rather them be on drugs.
I know, it's funny though. Also, the T-90 must have immediately realised that he couldn't fucking hurt me at all. I gotta somehow get this thing's missiles to- oh shit, you wanna
Yeah, I'm going south because
yeah.
I can't pop out there because the MGM. We're better off just
Also, there's the Cat B.
ourselves. Yeah, if we... Fuck it, let's just rush that Cat B because 13-second reload and I can designate.
Yeah, there's a Cat B playing the fucking national anthem of the Union Army over there.
He will not survive.
He will not survive.
Swing, bada, 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 swing, bada,
Bada,
bada.
swing, bada, bada, bada.
Up, TTB, never mind.
Hold on. Oh god.
And people
I know,
are...
that was my fault, I'm sorry. Also, hold on, I'm gonna close in to engage. Bonk. Thank you, M1A2C, for the heat damage. It's very much appreciated.
We could have
Yay.
had that cat tap if
Yep.
TTB didn't yeet itself at us.
Hold on.
Up, there might be something back there like MGM, and he just went straight the fuck through.
1,000 fucking ramming damage? I know, it's funny though.
Can't hit that. Nirvana.
I'm gonna go for the Cat B again. I know, he's dead.
Yeah, just push back out. We don't know where the MGM is. Cat Tab managed to fucking bonk a shell into my lower plate because raisins. Damn it.
Everybody's just fucking going over right now. Right, get him, get it. Right, I'll do you. You do you, bro.
I love being able to just designate targets.
Let me see if I can direct fire this thing's missiles at the T-14. Hold on, let me just...
I'm gonna turn around and go help him at the airfield.
Oh my god, I did! I blind shotted him.
Watch out from the MGM.
Yeah. What the hell? Oh. This thing's missiles are so strange.
There's that TTB.
Oh, come on, you fat thing. Come on, come on, come on. Fuck, spotted. Come on, move up, move up, move up, move up.
Hang on, I might be able to give you a hand over on this side. That TTB backs
Ooh,
up.
something's spotted me.
Oh, they're
Ow.
on the way back. I see what it is, a sniper.
Bye bye.
Okay, we need to deal with this XM1A3. Ah, fucking Leclerc, why are you there?
Because he's at the clerk. What the? Wait, what? What? Oh my.
I have no idea what that
Is he blind? Is he actually completely blind? Oh my god! How do you? He didn't even know I was there. He just like sat there. Hold on, let me see if I can. Oh. Oh. Yes! That's the dumbest fucking game I've had in this thing. But you know that's probably the best game I've had in this thing as well.
Lost Island, the meme.
The me just. Did you see that ram damage on the cat tab? I haven't had that much fun since you just plow into somebody with a fucking storm. Just.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say 490 when you basically evaporated somebody.
Yeah, 8,600 damage. You know what? That's not a bad game. That is not a bad game at all. And oh my god, their team absolutely fucking folded.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't like when we. The fact is, they had 2 Cornets in the base.
So, closing thoughts really, I have not had fun with this vehicle at all. I mean, 3,400 damage per game, win rate of 22.9%. When I went up against vehicles that I could pen with a brimstone launcher, such as the T4, Tier 9s and Tier 8s, I absolutely butchered them. Like, I saw them as food, because they can't pen me in the lower plate, and they either don't have APS, or the brimstone launcher completely blows through their armor. And that's why I don't think this vehicle should be a Tier 9. Because then it goes up to Tier 7s, and there is absolutely nothing those Tier 7s will be able to do to hurt you. Imagine going up this thing, up against this thing in a fucking Leopard. In that Leopard, you're screwed. You're going to get blapped by those brimstone missiles for 2,600 damage. Remember, these things are 1,300 pen. They are going to go straight through. This is basically this thing has a pair of upgraded Hellfire missiles. It will kill you. And those who say it should have been a Tier 9, honestly, I don't think they stop to consider the ramifications of what would happen. Not to mention the fact that the other things I really do not like about the vehicle at all is the fact that the dozer blade itself blocks the collision model of the vehicle and the physical place to hit it as well. This is a problem with the T80U and a problem with the Object 640, and it's the fact that your lower plate is not only very small and hard to hit because you're a fast moving target, but like the dozer blade on the Challenger 2 Streetfighter, your physical hitbox model is hidden. There is no visual reference point. The only thing you have to count on is your reticule, and you won't know that if you're aiming towards the bottom or the top or anything really. And I really don't think that's a good idea. In fact, I don't think a dozer blade should be a thing at all. It really just hides the hitbox, and I don't think that's a good idea. But at the same time, I've hated taking this thing out against other Tier 10s because the gun is too weak to fight them frontally. I have had times where a fast Tier 10 has simply looked at me. They can reach me faster than my second brimstone missile can fire, and they just get around me and kill me. I've done this thing to Chavez in the Streetfighter when he was in a Streetfighter. If you saw the Object 640 review, you don't fear this thing in a Tier 10 unless you're an idiot. You get in close, you rush it, it'll have to use its gun on you, but by then it's basically screwed because its DPM is so shit. What can it do? Nothing. But if you're in a Tier 9, you're going to get whacked by those brimstones, you can't penetrate it frontally, and it's just going to, and it's just going to use those Hesh guns on you. So, not only does this vehicle have an incredibly contradictory playstyle, we have a dozer blade, which promotes close combat, okay? But we don't have any ERA package. We have a pair of brimstone missiles, which promote long-range combat. But we have a weak gun, which means that we can't engage in any of them, which means we have to rely on a slow vehicle doing ramming damage, a long-range missile in which only half of its firepower will ever be available, and a gun that is honestly worse than its Tier 9 stock, than its Tier 9 counterpart. And to be honest, what really annoys me is the fact that I can't use the 50 caliber machine gun modelled right there to shoot at people. If you didn't know, the Object 640 can shoot at people with its 50 caliber. It's right there. I can shoot with that, but I can't shoot with my Streetfighter? Really? And on top of all the issues as well, the fact that you can just shoot the brimstone box and do 400 to 500 damage with high explosive shells, maybe even more or less with high explosives from other nations as well, means that this vehicle not only has a contradictory armor layout, but against people who have even a sliver of what to do, it's a goddamn death trap. If you want to play PvE, I think Willful Tangent and Mighty Beyond did a review on those things, but they pretty much said it is almost impossible to compete with people because the AI has APS, the gun is shit, and you're too slow to do anything. But of course, they wouldn't have been able to find out that the high explosive shells can do that. But I think if you're playing Spec Ops, artillery shells may possibly do similar kind of things to you, I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not grating on anybody, but I think you may have to play at least 2 game modes to be able to figure out how to properly review a vehicle rather than just playing it once and saying, yeah, there you go. To be honest, I'm not really sure what to say about this thing. I don't like it. I'd rather play the Panzer 87 140 because the Panzer 87 140 can... Actually, let me show you this. This is hilarious. So, keep in mind, the Panzer 87 140 does not have an APS, but this is the Streetfighter's armor versus it. Basically, the Panzer 87 140 can destroy the close combat tank in a close combat scenario, but because the Panzer 87 140 has Tier 8 armor and no APS, the close combat tank can destroy the long range tank in a long range encounter. Basically opposites. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I view Tier 9s and 8s as food, and I view Tier 10s as how am I going to be able to pull this off? You know? I very much believe that this vehicle is in need of testing, it is in need of buffs, and I submitted 2 points of feedback for the vehicle for you to read over. Well, for you to listen over, anyway. So, here we go, and you are free to disagree or not agree with me. I believe that the Challenger 2 Streetfighter at Tier 10 should be given the frontal third ERA package of the Challenger 2 Aptu. The dozer blade should not visually cover the lower plate. A higher damage but slower reload form of the Challenger 2's gun with high explosive instead of HESH or similar stats to the T14's 125mm but 1 second slower. A 20mm Pele autocannon mounted in a remote-controlled weapon station where the brimstone launcher is, with improved stats of 20mm, and it's similar to the T249's mechanics but without the ability to do the chip damage, and has an 8-second reload time but with 3 clips. I do not fundamentally believe that there should be a missile MBT that can ridge fire, which is a mechanic that was stripped from actual missile vehicles that can face Tier 8 MBTs without APS, and if it's dropped to Tier 9 it'll basically seal club and butcher Tier 7s. And given how small the lower front plate weak spot is for Tier 9s and itself, hiding the lower front plate was a terrible move as it presents an extremely difficult or near impossible target hit due to the lack of visual acquisition. Option B for the vehicle is that this tank's matchmaking should be restricted in GLOPs, PvP and ranked battles to Tier 10 only, otherwise it will be significantly overpowered versus Tier 10s. Versus lower tiers basically. Basically it can only face Tier 10s. This is the option B. So option B is to buff the gun to 650 damage and 800 penetration, but a reload time of 7.5 seconds given a base DPM of 5,200 or with a gun breach of 6,000. This will allow it to threaten other tier 10s and pose a risk to lower tiers but will still make the user need to switch between the gun and the Brimstone missiles. The Brimstone missiles need to have the controllable missiles in the air buffed to 2 with a cycle time of 3 seconds, giving it first strike capabilities versus other MBTs without it being a double tap weapon, aka the user will still need to aim. This will make the Streetfighter as intended in the article. A roadblock style MBT that has to rely on switching weapons to continuously damage while having the hit points and frontal armor to lead an assault. While I realise it's quite unlikely that my feedback will reach anyone, I have done the same for the Panzer AD 7140 and previous tanks that were given to me on a rental cycle. Also the frontal third of the Challenger 2s of the Atdu's ERA as well. Basically, let me just scroll to my Ariete. It would have, where are you? This armor layout basically, so the frontal third of the vehicle, so around down to here, so you have some protection there, but at the same time, if you show too much of your vehicle, you're going to get slapped. And of course, a improved 20mm, so this would basically be the VBR's gun with Pele rounds, so 17mm, etc, etc there. So this would make the Challenger 2 Streetfighter able to shoot other MBTs, threaten light vehicles, defend itself in close combat, serve as a roadblock, and to be able to also, while it would lose in a straight fight versus other MBTs, it would have the option to be able to support its team with the autocannon, high view range, excellent frontal armor, and a good amount of hit points. Those are my options, and I asked them to be sent to the developers or to the people in charge, and while I realise though they may not be the best ones, at the very least it is a better idea than simply move the vehicle down to Tier 9. This is a contradictory vehicle and it's not in a good place right now, but I believe that we should be able to fix these issues at the very least to be able to make it worthwhile for armoured warfare. Also, usable 50 caliber please, because I'm sick and tired of a fucking 7.62. I don't want to shoot a rifle caliber bullet. Give me my 50. Please. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this review, which typically goes on forever. There are timestamps and everything, so it's a bit far out. Take care of that, guys, and see you all later.